I'm continuing with the verses about generosity by Nagarjuna. And this next verse says, by contemplating the meritorious qualities of the recipient, one overcomes irreverence. And so in this verse, the word irreverence, when Venerable Children explained this, she used this mostly in terms of how we relate to teachers and spiritual mentors. And, we in general want to have a level of respect. Just like when you go to a doctor, if you don't respect the doctor, you basically, if you don't listen to them so well then. So there's it's quite beneficial to us in terms of overcoming our afflictions to be able to listen and learn, and the teachers are really the ones who can guide us. So that in the following the path, if we, the closer we are to our teachers, the easier it is to see their faults. Of course, that's true for anybody. So all this applies to anyone. But then what do we do with our minds when that happens? If you're anything like me, you can have a mind that wants to veer into a habit of kind of negative thinking. And that's not something that has to be that way. It's something in my mind that it's been very helpful to recognize, and it's actually through Venerable Children's help that she helped me to see that. She gave me some writings that she had by a geshe that pointed out like the logical faults that helped me to see how my mind, sometimes I was habitually having negative thoughts that I kind of just took as reality. And then one of the things that one of these writings said is like, well, if you go into a room and you haven't really talked to anyone yet, and already your mind has this flavor of like, oh, that person, you get on my nerves. Nothing's even happened yet, so you really aren't coming in as a blank slate. I think that's what I really learned from the writings, is that, wow, I'm carrying these preconceptions around. And so, some of those things are based on past experiences, but we have quite a bit of choice in this one, I think, as to how we view these things. And so basically what this is saying is because it's so disadvantageous for us to not be able to learn, we need to work how to be open to our various teachers that we have in our life, no matter who they are. And so if we find our mind going south in any way, and we have the wish not to, do that, actually this is not so hard for this one to work. You just start thinking of the person's good qualities, and you just let that fill your mind. And, it becomes quite clear that some of this stuff is just pure habit, and you can create new habits. And so I think although this verse is written in regard to a spiritual mentor, I think I use it mostly just in general in terms of helping me look at my mind, the mind of arrogance, actually. Because I think it was Zopa who told me that, when she was talking with Venerable Children once, I think she was talking to her about pride, and Venerable said to her, well, do you feel like you can learn anything from this person? This is when I was exploring what pride is, and I thought, so I looked in a lot of books to help me really figure out, where does pride come up in my life? What is conceit? And I remember when I was a teenager, yeah, they're conceited. We used to say that about other kids, they're conceited. So I was really looking at my life, what does conceit mean? And so that was one thing that I thought was quite useful, one of a few definitions of ways to find this in your life. And so if you don't feel like you can learn something from somebody else, to me, in my mind, when I'm got that going on, I want to recognize that and just realize that's the mind of arrogance, and I don't really want to accept that mind. I want to, because what it's doing is it's not giving enough respect to the other person. And you can't really, unless you have respect for another person, a lot of the things that we're trying to cultivate don't fall into place. It's much harder to listen to people that you don't respect. It's harder to understand them. It's harder to love them. So, a lot of these things come down to respect. And so I think this is a very helpful verse, and one that we can look at with a lot of honesty, and try to leave out any level of shame, because that really doesn't help. Just these thoughts come up in our mind, and we can dispel them. We don't have to let them run our interactions with others. So, Nagarjuna says that as we reduce these afflictions, we'll reach nirvana. So even in your daily life, as you use these, the level of peace in your mind can increase. And it gives me a kind of faith and confidence that there's some wisdom in this path, and that it will, helps to dispel any doubt. Just my daily experience of this small thing of, by contemplating the meritorious qualities of the recipient, one overcomes irreverence. So may that be of benefit to you as well.